What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I don't know. It's frigid here. It's frigid here. Come on in the room. Mic check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I had to put my lumberjack with the little wood on the inside here. How's everybody going? This hot Atlanta's like 18 degrees out here. Where you all located? Anybody in Georgia? Really, the whole East Coast been just showing out with the snowstorms over the last few weeks. So, it is what it is. But they say it's not cold in Colorado. I wonder if they this kind of cold. I know it have to be some kind of cold. This is a different kind of cold, bone cold. But you know what to expect this time of year, February. You know, it's like that. It's about the coldest it's gonna get. I couldn't be playing a ball. You see them ball, Chicago, Buffalo, how them boys be out there with no sleeves on, the wind gusting, snow falling out there with no sleeves on. Boy, you gotta have some real mechanisms in place. I mean, if your hands not to go numb, your feet not to go numb. I know they be feeling it. They may try to act like it. You got heaters on the sideline, but you see they still have them coats. And them coats is pretty thick. They ain't the kind of coats we wear. And they get them big blasting heats. I think one of the times they didn't put they made, I think it was Green Bay went to Chicago or something. They made the heaters not work. It was mad. They might do stuff to you like that. You gotta make sure your stuff work. I think Bucky said one of the guys Chicago tried to give him some insulated gloves. Yeah, you're gonna need all that. Regular stuff ain't gonna work. And I do know when I play ball, I know some stuff. They say what scuba outfits up under it. Like I can imagine, because you don't want your stuff to go cold. And then you got all of that, and then you got I know Vaseline works pretty well. I need to go get Vaseline myself because I learned about that from one of my coaches back in the day who played at Green Bay. And I tried it, and it wasn't quite cold enough. Boy, you're on fire. You don't want to put that Vaseline on, and boy, it better be cold, because I'm telling you, it insulates you. So, it's definitely some tricks out there to keep yourself warm. I don't know if y'all know a couple tricks, but, I know that Vaseline work, boy. You be on fire. If you out there running around and stuff, and it just 40, 50 degrees, that ain't cold enough. But out here like now, I definitely has to have some Vaseline out there running around on them fields. It kind of keep your pores closed, and it don't penetrate you. You know what I'm saying? It blocks it, because there's no way, they say Carhartt gear. I don't know what Carhartt gear, but I know it's got to be some thick stuff. Them folks go out there, you in the stands watching the game, the wind is freezing, and you down in that bowl. It's harder on the fans because you standing and sitting still. The football players running around, they got their blood flowing. So who catching the brunt of is really them people who ain't on the field running, who's standing around. But clearly y'all used to it. We get snow, our stuff shut down. You hear me? It shut all the way down because people can't. It get icy and people can't drive, and they slip around and run into each other, and insurance costs go up. I don't know what y'all doing in other states, but y'all people, 100,000 people still make it to the game and all of that. I don't know what y'all got going on. Cleveland, all of them, people still make it to the games. Not just what you wear, but your transportation is not affected the same. I don't know if it's the type of roads we have or just what, but when our roads get the moisture on it after the snow, or even if it don't snow, it turn to ice, and it just be driving on the skating ring, cars just be sliding. I don't know how y'all deal with that, man. Maybe y'all got so much snow. You can drive on snow, but you can't drive on ice. I guess if it's thick enough, you can tread on that snow if you got the right tires. But ain't nobody tires treading on that ice. And our junk, I don't know. Maybe we just don't get enough snow, and we be on the bottom layer of it, and y'all never roll on the bottom layer, unless it's melting. Ours just freeze over. So we just had some, and they didn't accumulate enough to freeze, because it definitely would have been frozen right now. The way it was, wind was gusting and blowing, and it's cold as a betcha bug outside. You say them Carhartt jackets, hats, gloves, the same stuff that construction workers wear. Yeah, you got that in these elements. You got to have the right materials. I can see that, but they come with it, man. Them guys who like Colorado, it starts snowing about November for sure. Utah, Colorado, them places like that, they start getting snow early. I know Cleveland, certain places, so certain areas, man, the weather flip early. Like Georgia, we started getting colder early this year. We won't had a pretty long before the winter. It was cold, even though it was consistently cold. The other place they get cold and stay consistently cold. It's just like cold. I went to New York. I was playing baseball back in the day. It was like a little Hall of Fame youth showcase up there in Cooperstown. We was up there with Cooperstown Hall of Fame. They got the Youth Hall of Fame, and then they got the Major League Hall of Fame. And we was playing in the Youth Hall of Fame. And they had us bring all these thermals, and they're like, bring thermals, bring this, bring hoodies, bring. I'm like, why they tell us to bring this? Because we had to bring it. So we packed all this stuff up there. And my birthday's on the 31st, right? August, right? So I'm like, we was up there for like 2 weeks, it seemed like. I think about 2 weeks. And the first week it was warm. I was like, man, it was warm just like it was here. It wasn't like hot Atlanta, but it was warm. Like you sweating. And why they tell us to bring all this long sleeves and thermals? They all went crazy. We there about a week, almost a week at that point. Man, we went to bed. We celebrated, my birthday. We went. They had like I guess like an Airbnb. The parents stayed off. We stayed on on the field. They had cabins and stuff, right? They had just built it back in the day, and we doggone woke up in that middle of that night. Everybody, it was like a movie. It was like Major Pain or something. We had like these bunks. Everybody, oh, in the middle of the night, everybody woke up. We all woke up in the middle of the night, freezing like it is. Like it went, and from that day forward, we hope and wish we wearing doggone jackets while we playing baseball, man. We wearing thick sweatshirts up on our jerseys, man. From that day forward, it was freezing every single day to the day we left. And we want to use that because we know Atlanta get cold for a day or two, get back hot, get cold for a week, get back. And they do that. Man, it's places up north. When they get cold, it's cold. And that's what they kind of remind me of. Like, they don't have no hot, cold. Sun may come out, but it's cold when you get up north. We don't get that. And I can see those places up there getting real frigid, man. They're the ones who getting these 20 inches of snow these last couple things. They get snow all the time. We be crying for snow. They move down here to get away from the snow. They get so much snow, it's ridiculous. They got to plow snow out their driveway. They got that kind of like, we think it's cute to get snow. Oh, this wants some snow. We get little sprinkles of dust, But them places up there be so cold, they move down here. When they retire, they move down here to get. I want to get away from the snow because they don't have abundance of snow. So, and I know they get cold up there, and we get cold a little bit. And I think maybe a month from now, we'll start we'll still be cold, but we'll kind of start shifting, to the hot, cold. March, March is pretty cold in Atlanta. Our March probably colder than our January, really. I always say that because it's like that. February is the coldest, and we right at it now. And we kind of started a little bit earlier. And they said Groundhog's Day coming up. I don't know, but if it get cold in March, it started to kind of do the hot cold thing in April, and then we downhill from there. So our cold, extreme cold, is like this box, like mid-January to mid-February. Is when we can just get crazy with it. It can just get negative, wind chill and all that stuff. I say Colorado, not that cold month, January, February. Yeah, I mean, it should be January, February. I know that's our month, but I think February probably typically a little worse. But January been showing out the last couple of years in Atlanta, I'm tell you. January is one of those things where, it could be. But we make it. I take it because when they get hot, we the opposite. When y'all get cold, we get hot. Our heat really go from May. Sometimes it's slow June all the way really through September. And October, you still got some heat, but it's kind of like in the 80s. But man, we really can get real hot in July. August is really ridiculous, and September still got it. So our peak of our heat is July, August. But boy, we with it though. We in Arizona, but I went up to Oklahoma, thought it was sweet. Boy, they ain't nothing to play with. They talk about Atlanta, Georgia hot. Well, it felt like spring. Our summer felt like spring. I know Texas get hot, Arizona get hot. That whole little strip Oklahoma get hot. It gets so hot it make baby tornadoes every day. Just little baby tornadoes run around. The big tornadoes tear it up, but the baby tornadoes run around at night when that cold weather comes. It can get cool at night there too. And that cold weather and that hot weather hit, and them little baby tornadoes. We were playing baseball out there. The tornadoes going all around us in the field, like little bullies. So, and weather is interesting, man. You travel. I know they say Chicago is cold. It can get pretty hot during the summer, and they get windy right around the spring. They can call it Windy City. It's very few places that get both. I think Chicago get a pretty decent amount of both. We don't get both like that down there. Let's talk to y'all. Come on in the room. I'm not gonna be before you long like a good Baptist preacher. It's off season. I got to get back to my off season in and outers. Not really a whole lot. Shador got the little Pro Bowl situation. We did hear, they finally got their coach, and it's interesting. And they may be looking up for Shador, the coach from the Ravens, who supposedly they wanted him, and people talk crap like 3 picks before he was picked. Oh, he turned them down. 3 picks before he was picked. Okay. Right. Like that really did something. Like he turned them down 3 picks before he was picked. He's gonna be 5th string in behind Lamar. At least he felt like, which ended up happening, he went to Cleveland. He can earn that spot. Lamar got hurt, but who wants to be 5th round in behind Lamar? Y'all miss it. Y'all try to make that a big deal. It's like, but he's also was the coach who you see the pictures of Shador when they recruited him at Georgia, offensive coordinator, when he was an OC there, and he was behind that. So for them to bring the guy up there to Cleveland, somebody who really likes Shador, has a desire to work with him, that's a positive. That's a positive. But at the very least, like you say, he'll get a shot. At the very least, it's a respectable far as what, it's respectable that they really want to see something with Shador. And I think that's from an entertainment perspective, from a business perspective, it would be the dumbest thing in the world not to do, because there's no other quarterback that's out there in the league. You can't name them that's more popular to say. Is nobody that will get more views, who's more you got the negative and the positive, but it all is publicity at the end of the day. People want to see him lose, people want to see him win. There's nobody else out there like that. So for you to have that, and he able to produce, and the players want to play with him, you can't lose with that. So it's like it don't make no sense for you to go get anybody else when you got that right there already. So when you see them getting a coach that's gonna want to work with that and can build on that, then it'd be good. Now, I don't know how this Pro Bowl situation gonna work. I see you talking about skill challenges. I don't know how that's gonna work, because with him being an alternate, does he get to participate? Is he just, does all the quarterbacks participate, or do they pick? Maybe they'll pick who participate in the skills challenge. I don't know. I don't know how that works, because it's not like the old days when they played a game and also flag football game. So do he get the, do everybody get to play? I can't remember. I haven't watched in so long. They make so many changes. Do everybody get to play? All that good stuff. But yeah, he definitely could, do the little drop the ball in the bucket and hit. He that's his kind of stuff. And I guess we'll be watching to see. I can't even remember all the whole, the tasks. I remember back in the day I used to watch when Warren Sapp was playing and Jason Taylor. He did these rep out 225 on the doggone incline. They just like Warren Sapp said, I ain't lift no weight. That's a lie. I remember clearly Warren Sapp and Jason Taylor went toe to toe in the skill challenge. And man, it was I'll never forget that, man. It was repping that 225 like it was water. Like it was water on the incline. And I remember like, golly. And Jason Taylor, he ain't no joke either. And ain't he People talk about our boy down at Miami, um, Coach Lewis. That Jason Taylor down there too, right? You want Jason Taylor down there? I think I saw him. I think I remember hearing them coaching down there. People kind of blew it over. Like I think he went down before Lewis, and I think Jason Taylor's down there coaching with University of Miami too. I think I saw him on the sideline, and he a Hall of Famer. I know he was elite. He was a pretty boy model. But Jason Taylor wasn't in the play. I remember why. Like I said, I remember him in the, he was strong and he was fast, man. He was elite. He was elite at that coming off that end over there. He wasn't the biggest guy, but he was fast and he was strong. Yeah, Jason Taylor. Anybody remember Jason Taylor? Yeah, Jason Taylor. I saw him. I forgot he was down here. Everybody talk about what old boy did, but Jason Taylor, I'm telling you, he contributed. He's one of them quiet Hall of Famers. He's one of them quiet guys who, he's the DC. I don't remember him being a DC. I thought he was just a position coach. When he become a DC? Because a lot of people I didn't hear a lot of people. They kept talking about we lost our coach down there, but I don't remember them talking about shoot, he down there with Jason Taylor. Jason Taylor is quiet as it kept. Quiet as it kept. Jason Taylor was, I remember that. I was paying attention on that time. He stood out to me during that time. My boy, my big boy now. My mind is slipping here. My boy, they played at Carolina, but he came out of North Carolina. Julius Peppers, those boys, yeah, those boys, those was some dominant ends in my day. We call it ends. They still use it synonymous, depending on the scheme with ends and edges. Right now they're calling them an edge, but it was for ends, defensive ends. Well, I had a question though. Yeah. Yeah, he's down there with D. Lou. I saw him on the sideline. I was like, I forgot Jason Williams had went down a couple years ago, and I remember when he went. I think he might have went either before or with Cam Ward. I think he went right before Cam Ward went down there, and it was like a quiet thing. It was like Colorado was the thing, and then it was like, yeah, should Jason Williams went back to because I think he went to Miami, didn't he? Went back to his alma mater because I know he ended up playing with the Dolphins later. And yeah, Jason Williams went down, and I'm like, well, okay. It was just quiet. It wasn't like a big deal like Deion went. No, this is a Hall of Fame. That's why I tell people, and I wasn't even planning on talking about this. People like to make comments like, Coach Prime ain't going around recruiting like Kirby Smart, and what make him better? That's really a foolish thing to say. It's like you can't compare Coach Prime to Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart is only a college coach. That's what made him who he is. He has no real brand outside of that. Coach Prime has many brands, and his brand was established way before he's a coach. His celebrity was established way before he was a coach. So when you move Coach Prime around, it's a whole nother level of security. It's a whole nother level of everything you got to consider when you're moving him around. Plus, he mobility and all. You don't know what he's going through. Like mobility, from his feet, his everything he got going on. He probably don't need to be traveling like that. Like y'all gotta, outside, when he do his gigs, it's like he at work. He at one place. He's at one site all day, or multiple days, filming a commercial, or sometimes he just, he go to a place and he come back the same day on a jet. He ain't out there on a road going from school to school to school. People watching him, it'll be very disruptive. I don't know how people don't get that. It will be extremely disruptive. Even Shador barely can do it now. You saw them kids run out the building when they find out he there and surround him, and it's like it's cute right now because he's not a threat and he's not intimidated by kids. But as you grow, these little imps come out of people. It's a dangerous thing for you to protect somebody like that. because you don't know who in the crowd, and they surround them. You can't control a big crowd like that. Certain people can't do that. I mean, he like the Michael Jackson. He's like, he got that kind of, probably not as extreme from a global level, because he's not that type of thing, but he has that kind of stigma, where people want to see him. So if he pull up to somebody's house and the word get out, the whole neighborhood get blocked off. Nobody doing that for Kirby Smart. Are you serious? It'll be, oh, Kirby Smart. Oh, wink, wink. If you come to school, oh, nobody running out the building to see Kirby Smart. They don't even know who that is, half the people. He's not a name brand. He's a name brand in football. I guarantee you, your wife don't know Kirby Smart. That nobody. Ooh, Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart coming up in my county, pulling up in helicopters, landing on the football field. He hit a few a day. He hit multiple really across the week, but he always come in these helicopters and land on the field. He went to my old high school, and I was like, yeah, Kirby Smart. Who is that? The kids probably didn't know he was in the building, and half of them probably didn't care, because it's like, only the football players like, that's Kirby Smart, because he's somebody in that arena. He's not a household name. Coach Prime is a household name. He can't pull up nowhere. He can't pull up to the Church's Chicken. He can't pull up to the mall. He can't pull up to the school. Anywhere he pull up, people gonna know who he is. People who don't even play sports gonna know who he is. They gonna recognize him. They don't even know his name. I seen him. He been on TV. He been on this for over, really at this point, 3 decades, man. Strong. He don't have reality TV shows. He got commercials. People don't even know football gonna say, I seen him on a commercial with the Almonds. I seen him on the Aflac commercial. On what is it? KFC commercial with his family. It's people who recognize him just off of that. They don't even have to know his name. They just know they seen him. They don't even necessarily know him. He a coach. They know him from the commercials, so they know he's famous or whatever. With that kind of celebrity, you gotta be very careful. So people gotta be more sensitive to that. He can't move around like that. And that's why he bring people to him, and he uses his celebrity. Hey, bring mom and dad to me. I'm in one spot. I'm in my location, my security, my safe points. Y'all come to me. I finish you. That's why it's important for him to have a strong recruiting team that can leverage his name, but also leverage their connection with him. So you got strong recruiters like Nesbitt. He already a strong recruiter. His recruiting only goes up in his connection with Coach Prime, Coach Marion. All those coaches you don't really know, but these guys have big names in recruiting. But some of even the lower guy, even the running back coaching and this coach and that coach, they all, Coach Hart is a strong recruiter because of his association with Coach Prime, not because of Coach Hart. He know how to leverage it. Well, I've done a good job with making these people visible. So they leverage that as well. Like, people recognize who it is. So, yeah, it's a lot of things that people just try to like look down on, like, oh, it'd be better if Coach Prime was on show up to school. It would be a stunt, but it wouldn't be for his best benefit, because he can be more effective being stationary than moving around. He can let his other coaches move around under his authority, under his tutelage. Well off don't made Coach Shaw. You know who these people are because of you've seen them. So these kids know these guys because they benefited from that celebrity. So I think that's the smartest thing he could have did, is empower other people to the point where we see it as a negative, but so many coaches who leaving him, they're gonna get jobs because you know who they are, because they you may have heard their name, but people really get to look into them because of the platform. I always give Bucky credit. Thank Bucky for your new job. Marion, nobody outside of football may not know about Marion and the Go-Go, but this platform is going to put his Go-Go on a whole nother level, because only football heads knew about a Go-Go. Be real, most of y'all didn't know about a Go-Go. Y'all might even saw the formation. That's kinky. You didn't know that was the Go-Go. People arguing me, oh, if NFL ain't use Go-Go, you a Go-Go story. Lie, whatever. Go-Go is already in other colleges in some packages. I've seen multiple teams, including the Browns, use Go-Go concepts. Just like when the Wildcat took off and you saw some people implement the Wildcat. You have seen the Go-Go already, whether you know it or not. You're just able to recognize it, and you're going to see it even more after this year, especially when Colorado has success. Go-Go gonna be all. It's a lot of high schools gonna adopt it. But you know why? Because the platform that everybody watching Coach Prime, everybody watching, they gonna lose. He gonna can he do this? Can he do that? The spotlight, the national games, they gonna be back national, and people probably gonna be more reinvigorated to watch them because of the combination of factors. Not you don't have Travis Shador there now, but you got Coach Marion and Go-Go, and even the Coach Nesbitt. He's not a national brand, but his brand gonna grow, and eventually, very soon, he gonna be a head coach at the college level. It's gonna expedite his growth. He's gonna get there quicker. You see what I'm saying? Because it's a slower path with just the grind. Because everybody a good coach and they work their way up, but it's an expedited path for people connected to Coach Prime because of the number of eyeballs there. Somebody's gonna see something they like, even if it's just a matter of them stealing from Coach Prime, like they do the players. They take a lot of players who wouldn't even have the spotlight, but because they was at Coach Prime, people like, yeah, I want that guy. You know, I think about a guy like Price, for example. Simeon Price? He jumped in the portal. Before he came to Colorado, they say he sat in the portal almost a couple years. He got hurt at Colorado and Oregon picked him up. You think Oregon would have been looking for Simeon Price? And I don't know all the backstory, the coaching movement, but Oregon wasn't recruiting him before. They got him out the portal when nobody else wanted him. And the concern was, Dawn, I hope he don't go back in that situation again. But Simeon was a good ball player. Somebody got a chance to see what he's capable of because they watching Colorado. We finna get into this, right? It's like a broken wishbone, Pat. Don't know if you can play video games, but you can check it. Well, Go-Go is way smarter than just a wishbone because I think we're gonna become more affiliated with it. I've started looking at it and look deeper into it because again, nobody paying attention to it unless you like a real football head or you going against it. You may have seen it, but you didn't know what it was. And that has name brand recognition. That's why it's going to take off because of name brand recognition. Coach Prime is good at making people a name brand, not just a person who's talented and a few people know. He make you a name brand. Travis Hunter, he was going to be a brand, but he solidified his name brand. That's why you see commercials and all that. That's what was smart about him. Shador built a name brand. That's why he's the top athlete in the world. His coaches that's connected to him build a name brand to the extent they get head coach jobs when they leave there, regardless if they ain't had no head coach experience. Like you look at Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk was Marshall Faulk before. He coached 1 year and boom. Yeah, he was looked at for other places, but it makes sense now. It's not a debate, right? You got to see him in action. Can't say he ain't got the experience. Can't say he ain't got the brand, but he got that pedigree enough for you to push it over. You've seen that with other coaches, and you're gonna see other coaches coming. I even think with our boy going over to Nevada. I mean, that's his area. He come from that area, but he's finally getting to be an offensive coordinator at a higher level, right? He's coached at a level. I even know before he came to Jackson State, I don't think he was an OC. He was like a position guy, receivers coach, that coach, Brett Bartoloni, right? It's a lot of things that come with name brand, right? Coach Marion is going to be a name brand after this season, especially with success. The smartest thing he could have did was come to Colorado because that simply means that the success he has is going to be magnified. It's going to be magnified on a level that no winning he could have ever done at Sacramento State. People say, why he left that to be it's a higher division, clearly. Sacramento State is not even on the level of UNLV. It's definitely not on the stage of Colorado. So it's not he's going to get paid more money too. It's a bigger platform that his success at this platform means more than success at that one. Yeah, they say, oh, he's only at that level. Oh, they can push it down. Just like when Coach Prime had to leave Jackson State. But his success at this level solidifies his concept better than anything he's ever done. The fact that he's built this, it's not going to be able to be compared to what people say a wing T, a wishbone, because it may be a hybrid, but it's more kinky in that because it's a whole lot more movement. See, when you look at those wing T's, most of the movement was just in the backfield primarily. Because everybody was close, right? You got back guy up here, guy on the end, he facing this way. Everything is congested. His mess is spread out. Even when you think about the wishbone, imagine a wing T and a wishbone that's still able to keep a team spread. It's never been really something that can combine both, and that's what makes it dangerous because it's going to force you to either play yourself too thin, or it's going to force you to be too tight and get whooped on the outside. If that makes sense. It's a very unique concept that only had to be created, and it's going to be a generational thing. And his success at this level in this situation magnifies it. Colorado is at the lowest it's been in Coach Prime era. It's been low in the Colorado era. Him doing it at Georgia when it wouldn't have been, oh, he just got top players. Him doing it at Ohio State. Him doing it at other places could always be watered off as talent. The biggest thing that Colorado has going right now is people say, is they talented enough? Is they big enough? This is perfect for Marion because if he does it with perceived less talent, the only thing you're going to be able to turn around and say is, well, maybe they had better talent than we thought. It's going to make guys pop. It's going to make guys look more talented. But you're going to say, oh, these guys come from smaller schools. They don't have no stats. So you're not going to be able to use that. So it's almost like it's playing in their hand for you to keep downplaying Colorado. They got a little bit of running backs. They got the little bit of receivers. He know what he need for his system. You got Juju. He didn't play that well last year. He's only his second year. This is the true underdog story. It wasn't an underdog story before. Their first year was an underdog story because they came from the FCS. Trav has always been a Heisman level. He was the top player in the doggone country when he came out of high school. He went to Jackson State because he wanted to. Everybody and mama knew that, but they want to play that game. Like, oh, he ain't this, that. He's small. Is he too small? Oh, they want to think, okay, can he play both sides of the ball without getting hurt? They always try to play whatever. You couldn't deny his talent. They tried to play Shador daddy ball, and move the goalpost. But the point is, the man always threw over 3,000, mid 3,000, 30 plus touchdowns every year since he played. Right at it. Every year since he played, since his first year. It was no growth into that. He was consistent. His percentage rate was consistent. You can play that game. So the talent was not an issue. Now, the rest of Colorado, they didn't have the trenches and all that, but he still competed. What something like this, and Marion has said it, what something like what he's doing does is it eliminates. This is what Colorado needed all along. They definitely needed this past season. And what they need is a type of offense that neutralizes talent. What that means is, like when Colorado we're gonna go down your throat. You don't have the line for that. You don't have the mentality. You don't have the system. You don't have the format, the scheme, nothing to do that. But you tried it and it exposed you. It exposed you when you try to go belly to belly, and your run game just not exist. We kept saying, be more creative, put people in motion. This is what we was asking for. He said, I built this thing at a high school with less talented players because it's designed to expose the weaknesses of the defense while minimizing your ability to capitalize on my weaknesses. So you don't have to have the biggest lineman. Everybody say, oh, Jordan Seaton gone. We're not saying you don't need no lineman, but you don't have to have it. You see? So at the end of the day, people got a lot of opinions of what it looked like, but he made it. I think he knows what he want to do and what he's able to do. I don't think he's lying to himself. And people question, is Juju able to fit into this? He gonna put a lot of people foot in their mouth because If the man say he can do it, he can do it. And at the end of the day, when it succeed, you gonna have a new eye look at this. This can broaden juju, because a lot of times people try to put people in the box. Oh, this person is only a pocket passer. They already want to put him in that pocket passer box, right? Because Shedeur was a pocket passer. The entire he run, he's more athletic than we thought. Y'all don't want to put him in the box. What this is going to do is almost like an actor. It's going to allow Juju to show his range, because people, going to forever put him in a box. He only can be a pocket passer. He only can be this. But if he can show he can run, this going to add to his resume. Oh, now he ain't just that guy, because he already showed he can run. But it was smart for him to stay, because it gives him a couple more letters to put on the resume. And that's what I felt about Jordan Seaton. Appreciate y'all getting them lights up. Appreciate it. Jordan Seaton, let's be real. And we talk tongue in cheek when we talk about Jordan Seaton. But let me tell y'all this. Jordan Seaton struggled in the run block. As big as he is, he kind of high. He don't blow people off the ball. We started to see a little bit with him. They started putting him in motion last year, and he was, that looked good on him. Because the NFL is becoming more like that than what you think. They starting to put these big boys in motion. They starting to do go-go type stuff. They ain't just lining you up just to sit there, like that, like the old days, because the style is changing. And you got to do stuff like this to confuse people. Pros, you think pros can't do X's and O's? You got to do stuff to confuse them. That's what the future is with these offensive coordinators, is you got to be able to confuse, because these people is not dumb. And the players is experienced. They've seen it. So the way you get over on them is disguising. That's how the offense get thrown off by the defense, and that's how the defense get thrown off by the offense, right? So Jordan Seaton, biggest thing was, you need to get out of here because Colorado ain't running the ball. Then you bring in the guy who gonna run the ball at least 60% of the time, and you leave to go to traditional. Okay, that's cute, but this guy here was gonna highlight Jordan Seaton in ways that nobody could highlight him, because he's finna put Jordan Seaton in motion, which you ain't really seen a whole lot of. You finna see more run block, and he gonna still get the pass. So it would have gave him a more well-rounded thing to do. Now, granted, you can just say, oh, he's just a pure left tackle who, just need to prove he can be good on the blind side, But I would say it was kind of evident, and other people point out, that Jordan Seaton, his strength was not the run block. He had to prove himself on the run block. I would get him leaving if we had another year of Shermer and they just doing this throw sideways crap. And yeah, his pass grade could be 80-some%, but you like, oh, I need to see him block. And the SEC, they runs the ball. So, you go to LSU, okay, they finna run the ball straight up. You're going to get to be the traditional tackle down there. I just think he didn't really need much to prove from a standpoint of the passing. He had to prove he can run block. I think the eyeballs was going to be there. I think the eyeballs going to be there on Colorado more than it would be on LSU. Maybe you don't need the eyeballs, but I'm thinking that being that Coach Prime is there, Brendan Mayer is there, and I'm telling you, if they jump out there, go 3-4-0, it's going to really stir this thing back up, because the media know where the eyeballs are at, and the eyeballs going to be there. Now, when Coach Prime them lose, his fans get mad and they start watching, especially they got us watching these back-to-back 10 o'clock Eastern, 10:15, starting at 10:30 Eastern game in after 1 o'clock, and you watching some suspect football. It's a problem. It's a problem. Next day he signed to Bama. Keith. Yeah, I think that my question was, when you look at the title, has Colorado made enough leadership changes for it to really count? Now, on the other side of the ball, we got this situation where it's the lone guy left. Like, they don't shift it all around him. They don't change the linebacker coach. They heard our cry. They don't change we brought down a nickel, Mathis down to the nickel coach, was basically the slot. Kept him a job. He's looking out for his boy, right? Called him a nickel coach. And he didn't call himself assistant, like Hart said, I'm assistant linebacker coach. He could have said, I'm an assistant DB coach. I'm a nickel coach. I ain't assistant nobody, right? I don't know what this DB coach gonna come in and do, but I'm sure they brought him in for a reason. And we need to change because I mean, what's happened didn't work. You know, what's happened didn't work. So you got that change, new DB coach, new linebacker coach. The two biggest cries we really don't have in the last 2 years. We already seen the line coach. D. Lou did a good 1 year. He went back on home and it was in the national championship. Woo woo. I guess it worked out for him. But we still got Pico and Sap right there. And then you still got my guy over there working with the edges, right? They call outside linebacker. It's on the line. Come on. It's on the line. Right. So my thing is this. Now they kept Sap and they kept Pico. And they still got, Hilo. They still got Livingston. The question is, how bad do y'all want him to get a job with the Cowboys somewhere else so he'd be forced, or maybe they already know, to get him a fresh look at the defense? Because what we don't want is to change stuff around and stay the same thing. Cause it's like when we put Schumer out there, you got the same thing every year because it still was Schumer. I don't know what in the world Livingston doing. I'm not saying it was all his fault. And linebackers weren't hitting on nothing. That ain't help. DBs getting burnt, couldn't do basic coverages, and they bump and run everything, man, everything, and they wasn't really flexible. And they said it's Coach Prime thing, but I hope you be flexible because if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. Y'all don't know how to switch, or y'all don't know how to, pick up routes. I don't know what's going on. I just watched some weird stuff at the goal line that just looked bad. Safeties didn't know who to pick up, and this man stuff. I don't know what's going on with the zone. Why you ain't running the cover 2, even cover 3. I don't know why it's not no diversity in that because even the pros mix it up. Or maybe you can do a hybrid and you let certain people be man and certain people not. I don't know, but I will hope that Livingston get a fresh start and defense get a fresh start since you made change. How do we really measure the change? You move positional players, but philosophy-wise, you seem to have the same thing going on. And I would like to say that it was, like the offense. You move positional players around, but you still got Schumer there. Do you really see a change? Play calling wise and schematically? Like, how do you change? I mean, you can change the blocking schemes and all that, but throw left, throw right, routes looking kind of bunchy, like he's looking really raggedy. And one thing I know Marin's gonna do, it's gonna be precise, so your butt ain't gonna be out there. It's gonna look clean. It's gonna be proficient. I don't know what was going on. Like they didn't come to practice. But you say Livingston looked good when Travis them was there. Well, we've had this conversation 100 times, so I don't know. It's already established. It's no secret that Travis makes you look better. You ain't coach him. He's jumping rocks. You ain't being picks off his natural ability. You ain't tell him to do that. You ain't even watching film with him. From what I'm hearing, everybody watching film on their own. So you can't even take credit for telling him what to do. So at the end of the day, you can't take credit for what Travis did. You bought Hill Green in there. He was a veteran. He was in his 4th year. Like, how you can't take credit for what he brought to the team because the year before they ain't had no linebacker. It was purely him. Block Bully, what he did. He didn't teach Block Bully what he did. Block Bully was already doing that at Houston. Let's not get it twisted. He was tearing Texas up. You brought established players in. That's why I think it happened this year. Maybe he can look good again this year because you got players in. So people say it's a talent issue. Yeah, nay. Yeah. You can say that's a talent issue. And I think a lot of coaches get away with looking good because of talent. I do. I think a lot of SEC coaches look better than what they look because you just got better talent. I think even when Coach Prime was at Jackson State, people say, oh, they didn't have to coach much because, whatever, they just better. Yeah, they had Travis Hunter and all these people. They didn't have to out-coach them coaches that much. And they can claim that Coach Prime got out-coached in Celebration Bowl both years. Maybe, especially that first year. Second year, they just gave it away. They was emotionally depleted. I was at both of them. But They on a bad day they can beat both some teams in the SWAC. So yeah, if you're in a conference where you got most of the guys that's more talented, yeah, they can make you look good. You can look better than what you did before. Absolutely, that's not a question. I think that if you look at the defense and you compare, they had a good year to a bad year. It was still some commonalities: poor tackling, airheaded plays in the secondary, um, questionable coaching personnel decisions. That some delayed, like start off the season have to have a whole. And then people who were studs, they didn't play. That was a trick. You seen them Sylvan Craig, you seen them with Bayou, you seen them with Hill Green, you seen guys who became the core. They weren't even starting originally. It's like, oh, we had to see. No, you don't went through the whole spring, the whole summer. You had to get in the games, and you can recognize. I already told y'all Bayou was gonna be good. I already knew Sylvan Craig was that, especially with what they had. Some people just proven and what they provide as a player and a leader. That's why I'm able to tell y'all this team gonna be better this year, because you got to look at the prior production and the style of play of the guys before they got to Colorado. Now it's not high school we talk about, so you can't say it's high school. We talk about college. It's hard to compare high school to college, but when you talk about the fact that you have guys coming from whatever level, you look at their play. Like we knew what Shador did at Jackson State, it was going to translate. When you look at skill position, not just not trenches, that's different. Sometimes you can be a big booger bear in the trenches at a lower level, but then you go up against some bigger, stronger, more athletic linemen, you regular. So that's something you can't always equate. But receivers and stuff like that. You also got to look at knowledgeable players. Like you got a guy, linebacker, who knows his position. He ain't got to be the biggest, strongest guy. He gonna be in position. He may not dominate, knock everybody's heads off, but he's gonna be there to make a play. That's the guy you want, not the guy who always on the other side of the field, always no discipline. He running with the fake. He not doing his assignment. He running to each other from one guy doing his job, the other guy trying to do the other guy's job. That guy you don't want on the field, So it's things like that that can give you a good indication of with this how they perform with that mess going on. Now they got guys who ain't finna do that mess. I can tell you all confidently. I can't tell you they're gonna win the championship or go to the playoff. Now I can tell you all they for sure already is a better team from just a personnel standpoint. And I would bet the difference to say in the coaching standpoint. We know that you got a better OC. Now again, Livingston is a factor. Like he's still there. I can't prove that he's gonna do anything differently. I can't prove that he didn't really have no impact on what was going on, because at this point, this will be his third year. When you compare his first year to his second year, he had a lot of key pieces in there that were very experienced. Even talk about BJ Green coming over. These guys made up for a lot of things just off their effort. We talk about guys who are in the pros. Hill Green might end up in the pros. We talk about guys you had, and Sylvan Craig even made the team. He made the roster. Come on now. BJ Green made the roster. These guys went in as free agents and made rosters, right? So I'm trying to remember. Did BJ Green go in? I think he in as a free agent. He went in the 7th round with the rest of them boys. All them boys supposed to have been drafted. Jimmy's supposed to have been drafted. DeJounte supposed to have been drafted. And BJ Green, all of them was expected to be drafted in the earlier rounds, like around the 3rd round. But when Shador, who was the first round to go in the 5th, they called it Shador slide. I call it that. Push them all the way back. It put them guys in a bad place to make the team. It's hard to make the team when, like they put Shador. Oh, you're a 5th rounder. You're not gonna get reps in front of some people who got drafted before you. Just off of that. That's not a good thing. And so you put these guys in a rough situation. So for them guys to make the team, that shows you how solid they were. That's the kind of players you had on the field at the same time. People underestimate because they was on the foolishness. They undervalue. How many guys got drafted? They put 4 receivers who end up on the active roster. Nobody else had that. They all came out of that room. So again, imagine if you had a better system, because they won a lot of games just off of talent. You say talent, and they lost games because play calling was garbage. They didn't make the adjustments. They didn't. They just went on did the same stuff, and even during the game, like they bumped their head against the wall. Nebraska, they were going down the field just one scoring. It was so simple. Everybody say vanilla. The scheme was horrible, missing blocks, but they still was in the game no matter what the score because they didn't blow them out. Now Kansas whooped them later. They was out there arm tackling. Arm tackling, cold up there in Kansas. And then BYU blew them out. They was depleted. They was like, well, this is our last emotional game. Hill Green didn't even play. So you talk about an impact of that one guy, and you saw the impact of that one guy not playing. So you can't say that, it wasn't him. Plus, all the other linebackers were hurt, and they were playing hurt. Y'all really down on the two linebackers, really. You go in there without your guy who really been the enforcer on your defense, and you go up against a team like BYU at that point of your season, and you wonder why they couldn't really do much. You lose key pieces. So those key pieces made a difference. So just like when they left, now what your defense look like. So was it him or was it the players? Y'all asking. It was a difference. When them players not there, then they exposed. When he don't have those pieces, it cover up his weaknesses. Now this was his first year as a defensive coordinator, and they helped him out a lot. But second year, you couldn't lean on talent. Now what you got? You line everybody up there on the line. Ain't nobody going to make no play. And they got every quarterback that you go against, JV, varsity, freshman, water boy, they running all over you. You get averaging almost 200 yards rushing a game. We talking about like they can't be finna do it again this week. Oh, okay, they ain't gonna do 200, they gonna do 170. They gonna do 180, 199, that kind of stuff. That's not something I'm really confident in, because he didn't make the personnel changes and he didn't make the scheme changes. As a coach, you gotta be able to. You ain't always like Marion. Marion can say, "I don't need all the best players. I'm still gonna produce. I would like to have players, but I'm confident in what I'm bringing to the table. I can work with it." That's a true coach. You ain't gotta have a bunch of studs and superstars, because really that means it's them, not you. So now we're at the point. That's my only concern. My only concern is this gonna be Marion? Gonna have to, I don't want to be the shootout year. Like Shedeur, that shootout every year had to be a shootout. So y'all go back to my Livingston. Shootout at the first year. Can you keep the president? I guarantee y'all this. If that defense can keep 3 touchdowns and less, they gonna win at least nine games. If the defense, because Marion gonna score over 30. If you start pushing it to, okay, we give up 4, it'll be a tighter game. That means your defense ain't that great, because you don't be giving up that kind of points unless you playing somebody like up there, like maybe a Texas Tech. Maybe they can produce that. I don't know. But you're not really playing a lot of teams that should be scoring that many points on you. If your defense is what you say it is. So if that defense, that's all you got to figure out. You know what Marion ain't going to do. You see the type of speed he got over there. All your defense got to do at this point is give up no more than 3 touchdowns a game. You throw a little field goal or so in there. Marion going to score at least 30, regardless. That's where the Juju at quarterback. That's where the Ponder at quarterback. His offense is designed with just the type of athletes he got in the scheme. They're gonna pound you. And they're gonna break you. They're gonna break you. He got some big linemen and big experienced linemen. He got what he needs. He ain't got no juke joint linemen. Running backs, he got a nice mixture of experience and just hunger. Track Hawk gonna get loose. We seen what he able to do. You got the boy from Alabama. He ready to show what he can do. He was the top running back in the country, right? Or at least in the state when he came out. You got some real treats at running back and some very skilled, provenly skilled receivers that you just brought in on top of what you already had. You have no excuse not to produce. No excuse not to produce. So this is what you got, y'all. The talent is there from what Marion need. I don't see no excuse for the linebacker room not to say they don't have what they need. They got proven linebackers. They got probably the best D line as far as recruits. They got a variety of D linemen, tackles, edges, production. One of them they thought they weren't gonna be able to get, and then they turned around and got him. Older guy, reckless. You got a couple stubs in the middle. What was the guy name? I know we got the one with the long name. Down what? Not New Mexico. Where is he at? Got a few guys from New Mexico. My guy from Appalachian. I was thinking name start with M. We triple his name. I don't know all their name. Then we got the big 6'3", 375. They told me he need to cut some weight. I see him trying to run. I'm like, he got to keep up. You got to keep up. But you got big fire hydrants now in the middle who, like Block Bully, have shown they can clog up a middle. They got the skill, they got the ability, they got the production, and the depth. All we had before was a doggone, what's my boy name? Both my Alabama boys. That's all we had before. All we had was two big Alabama boys who stood up. Barnes and what my other boy name? Stood straight up in the air. Barnes kept standing straight up. Right? That's all we had. We had size, but they weren't fire hydrants. Otis. They weren't guys who can get low and just be sturdy. Because what happens is when you move the middle like that, it kind of create a wash. If they wash you, they're gonna knock you into the next man, and next man they combo, and it just washes the line. It just creates an orifice right there in the middle. And when you got silly linebackers who just a puppy and run off over that in the middle, just wide open. Why you see quarterbacks just taking off up the middle? Your linebackers don't even be there. Matter of fact, half the time he had the linebackers lined up on the line, so they were way out there, way out there. We got edge rushers out there, and you putting the linebacker outside of them. The problem ain't out there. They're running straight up the middle. Why you keep taking your linebackers out the field and they running right up the middle? You seeing them do it. That's the dumb part about it. You seeing them do it. The quarterback sit back there, do this. DB's covering clearly for an hour. He take off, run up the middle, get a 20-yard first down. And we watch this happen week after week after week after week. Week after week after week after week. We watch that happen. No adjustments, in game, out game. Come back and say, I know before you better put them out. They're like, man, running man ain't working. You go blind the doggone linebackers up. They already can't read if they in a position. You keep teaching them to stay. You got that gap, you got that gap. But nobody got in the middle of the field. Your doggone Barnes standing straight up like he trying to block a field goal. So you got no penetration in the middle, and you ain't got no congestion. No congestion. He ain't creating where the quarterback gonna run into the back of somebody, trip over somebody. Because he trapped into the edge rusher. That's why the edge rushers had so many sacks when Block Bully was there, because they were clogging it up. He couldn't escape. He had to run right into BJ Green, right into Arden Walker. Why do you think we had all them sacks? Because the middle was not an option. You can't name how many times a quarterback escaped up the middle when Block Bully was there. It was no middle. And Hill Green was waiting right behind him. If he did, knock him out the game like he knocked UCF quarterback, big old defensive lineman looking quarterback, knocked him slap out the game. I was at the game. He tapped out. Hill Green knocked his block off. Wham! That's what a linebacker do. I wish you would take off running. I came up in the era where quarterbacks used to be scared to run. That where the sliding and all that came from. These quarterbacks, they take off running like what linebacker, and then run over the linebacker. He reaching for him. He running through arm tackles. That's what you dealing with, man. So if that repeat, it's gonna make it harder on the offense, but I still think they're gonna be better just off the offense, just off of strength. The offense is gonna be productive, just off of that. Honestly, all the offense last year couldn't score but 2 touchdowns a game. That's nowhere near gonna happen. They're gonna score that a quarter. Doing there. They're going to score at least a touchdown a quarter. We had an issue. We jump out there, score. Oh, 14 points. Don't score no more. Until later on or something. Offense was just stale. It was inconsistent. It was consistently inconsistent. That's the type of offense you had. That's how you lost. Is the linebacker small? Linebackers are not big anymore, guys. What's small is your brain. If you got a small brain and you at linebacker, you got to have a big brain at linebacker. The smartest players on the field need to be linebacker. You bragging on a safety being smart. That ain't cute. He got to make all the tackles 30 yards up the field with a broke arm and shoulder because he got to come up and hit a 230-pound running back at full speed because nobody slowed him up. That's not good. That's not good. When you got a linebacker, he can be 220. That's what the pros are. Go look at that. Do Cleveland got big linebackers? There's no Ray Lewis linebackers no more. You know, it's no big, huge Takeo Spikes. Like Hill Green was a bigger linebacker, and he wasn't even all the way 230. That's a bigger linebacker. My boy Debo up there at the Steelers. There's no linebackers like that no more. There's no 250 linebackers. They turn these guys into doggone edge rushers. You notice that? You get up to 250, they trying to come off the edge. Because the old boy who ran a 4.5 10 years ago, 20 years ago, he would have been a linebacker. Now you're edge rusher, 240, running like that. His butt would have been a Mike linebacker. They would have made him out. He would have been Ray Lewis. Running like that, he would have been no edge rusher. But now the edge rusher is 250, 240. Look at Wade last year. Wade, they want him to be a linebacker. He didn't have the mindset, the skills of a linebacker. They had to keep him at the edge. He get a linebacker, and then he looked like the rest of them. He didn't have a clue. Linebacker got to know the game. Everybody roll. He got to know what DB's doing. He got to know what the line doing. And he got to be, he calling shots, and he got to bail people out. He like the manager. I'm on the field too. I'm not just calling shots. I got to clean up stuff. You miss tackles, I got to be there to clean it up. If the quarterback think he finna try something, I got to be the one to undercut it. He gonna audible to a little, in and out route, a little drag route, a little slant. I got to be the one who knocks somebody's head off, or I gotta come underneath and pick it off. That's every level, man. Yeah, Patrick Willis. That's it. Yeah, but that's every level. If you got a smart linebacker, where your defense goes, that's where your linebacker go, your defense go. You find a good high school team, I guarantee you they got some prominent linebackers. Matter of fact, that's who we recruit. These freshmen we got, they was good teams in high school. They had dominant linebackers. Because your run game gonna be shut down. Because that guy dominant in high school, he gonna run everything down. I had a cousin like that. He gonna go Georgia Tech. He kind of turned to more finesse. But high school, he run everything down. He one dude wrecked the whole game. They ain't coming. I don't care if it's the best team in the state. He finna run them down. That linebacker, IQ, they ain't running nothing. But you got a silly linebacker, man. Y'all ain't finna stop nothing. It don't matter what the D-line do. Because they're gonna find that hole. Because the linebacker you can't. D-line, only how many D-linemen is, man? You got how many gaps? Think about it now. You ain't got a D-lineman. You ain't running no 6'2". Yeah, them days over. You only putting like 3 D-linemen down there. You got 5 linemen, man. Why you think they do that? Because they got linebackers. The D-lineman job can't cover all holes. They can block, double team like they supposed to. The rest of it's supposed to be filled by your linebackers. Your linebackers no good. Your run game stopping is non-existent. That's what I've been trying to tell y'all. If he running over here and the ball go, they run a counter. Why you think they do counters and all that? If he take his butt out to play, they right that by him. Or he can't get back over there and lineman on sealed him because the lineman coming to seal him. So he just took himself out to play. If he had knew what he was doing, he might could have got through or beat the lineman to the point. But if he over there looking at that, they want you to do that, and they're going to pull a lineman, so a lineman going to come and seal you, and boom, they gone. Your safety making the tackle or missing the tackle 20, 30 yards upfield. Your DBs running around looking meet, the guy running right by him, he ain't even see him. I mean, I can't believe that. He's decoy. Your linebackers got to be smart. They ain't got to be big. They just got to be smart. A linebacker, I used to say Star Mark could have been one. I used to say he looked bigger than what he maybe is to me. I thought it was 215. They say he two something. I played it that I was a smaller guy. They wanted to play linebacker. I was the hybrid. I played every position on defense, but I ended up linebacker. I played linebacker high school, but I also played corner. I also played safety, and sometimes in the same game. That's the kind of athlete I was. If the doggone DB was getting burnt and it was a bigger receiver, they'll put me out there man to man. And I was a linebacker. I was a starting linebacker, and I go out there man to man and jam him up. He ain't getting off the line. I'm running with him. I got tape. I'm running with the fastest receivers on the field. They 40 times say as fast as me. I'm running stride for stride with them. I'm the linebacker. Sometimes I even had high top cleats on doing that mess. Well, that shows you a true linebacker. I was a linebacker who can go play corner. I'm a linebacker who can play safety. It don't supposed to be the other way around. Your linebacker got to be the smartest guy. He got to know everybody's role to the point he don't can play it if he has the ability. I come off the edge, defensive end in certain packages. The linebacker got to know the game. He don't. Your defense doomed. I don't know how many ways. I don't know who not getting. I don't know Colorado not getting. Maybe the new linebacker coach get it. You're doomed. Oh, we're going to get a guy in the middle. They're going to run right past him. They're going to double team him, and nobody else going to be behind him because your linebacker going to be over there drinking Gatorade somewhere. The guy's doing his job. He keeping it where the lanes are small. You know, he getting wide. He not getting pushed out. But he can't cover both lanes. He just got to make it where the guy just can't come through there running 90 miles per hour. But if you stand up like Barnes, and it's big enough for a semi truck to go through there, it's gonna make it hard for everybody to make the tackle. Linebacker gonna get his shoulder and ran through. Because you gotta think about it, I get the ball full speed coming at you, and you stand flat foot, so to speak. And then you gotta pick up and come get me. That's gonna be a mighty collision. I gotta be Hill Green at that point. I gotta be 240, 230. Because them running backs was big. They didn't have no Cincinnati didn't have no little running back. Kansas didn't have no little running back. These boys is big running backs. They 230. That boy who they were running all over them at West Virginia, they took him off of defense. He was an all-state running back. They took him from strong state. He scored 2-3 touchdowns on Colorado. He wasn't even an offensive player, but he was like 230. He ran all over them in the goal line. They couldn't stop him to say they like. That's what happened. If they had a real linebacker, Hill Green wouldn't let that happen. Hill Green would have knocked his butt back on defense because he wasn't even a real running back. Hill Green, go take yourself back over there on defense. You ain't no running back. In that case, you would have been starting running back. They took advantage of size against them, and they took advantage of the fact them linebackers wasn't true linebackers. Because leverage is everything. If you in the wrong hole, reaching out for him, he gonna run, knock your arm and wrap around like a Buzz Bunny. Snap your arm in half. Why you think all of them had muffs on their hand? All that reaching, break fingers, your jersey, fingers get caught up in the jersey, finger turns sideways. You break your fingers that way because you're reaching. You got to put your shoulder pads and your helmet on these boys. These boys 230. What is your arm going to do? All that arm tackling they did, that means you're out of position. That means you're running past them. That means you're not technical. That means you don't want to hit. A linebacker got to want to hit. I ain't never seen linebackers tackle like DBs. DBs go down at the feet. DBs reach out and grab. Our linebackers was doing more grabbing than the DBs. You can't name how many hard hits you seen. You name one a game with Hill Green. You can't name how many guys you seen hit somebody. You can't name it. You can't name it. But this group of linebackers this year, ESPN gonna hit you. I'm gonna tell you that. You can call him small all you want. I bet you he hit you. And I bet you he be in the right place. That's all I can ask you to do, be in the right place. You know, somebody said Livingston, the Kansas State game, and put man to man. Yeah, they should have been in prevent, and doggone Hood should have been in the game instead of Hodge. I was at the game. Hood, I had already got to pick that game. Hood was the fastest DB out there. Hood is one of the best DBs in the country this year. Hood should have been the one out there man to man, and they wouldn't have lost. I guarantee that because Hood wasn't going to get burnt. All did do was throw the ball up in the air, and Hodge just got outran and stopped because he's not a cornerback. It tripped me when they say he was a cornerback where he came from. He was a slot guy. He never been a good cornerback. He may be a good safety. He good strong safety, maybe. But you can't put that boy out there and cover nobody man to man. Hodge, he the one gonna hold somebody, or he just gonna get flat footed and the guy gonna go to the inside. He the one that kept getting burnt. Hodge is not a coverage guy. Not one-on-one. Put him out there and cover 3, maybe he can do something. He'll come up and make a tackle or something. You know. Yeah. That's what we got, man. So that, the linebacker's going to be better. That linebacker from Texas, you can tell me he ain't good. He already good. He like block buddy like Hill Green. He's already good. He's not going to get good based off of coaching. Coaching just need to put him in the right position. Don't have him line up on the line and crap like that. Let him play linebacker and be a real linebacker, and you'll be all right. The boy from New Mexico State, I think he'll be decent. You got 2 good freshmen. You got one from Georgia, and you got one from down there in Texas? 2 good, Crawford and another one. 2 good, big. They already 220 plus, 6'2". Bigger linebackers. They bigger than the linebackers you're bringing in. So they ain't gonna have no excuse. They got big size linebackers. They got some scrappy DBs they done brought in. Some scrappy. We ain't had no scrappy DBs. Them DBs look like they a deer in the headlights. What do I do? They had no confidence. Hood had confidence. They brought in more DBs, more like a hood. They're gonna go out there. I know what to do. I don't play DB all my life. I act like I played it before. Like they just put me out here today. I don't been thrown in position before where I ain't played. Like, what do I do? They got DBs who played the position before and who played it well, and they know what to do. The team is gonna be better, y'all. I got them win at least 9. They gotta win at least 8. They gotta win 8. I got them win at least 9 to 10 games. I don't know what other teams look like. That's why I can't say. I got them win 9 to 10 games. Just off of. I ain't seen them play together. Just off the type of players they got. How they play together and all that's going to determine how they win in tight games. And I don't know if I fully know what Livingston going to do and all that. All I can say is expect them to have a better team. I'm still got question marks still in the air about what Livingston going to be and if you're going to even be there. But I'm thinking the offense is set. But y'all let me know what y'all think. If you're watching this, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll be talking to y'all soon. Y'all have a good one.